The race to the stars. The 1960s were an era defined by exploration, not just of the Earth, but of the vast, unexplored stretches of space that beckoned humanity with a sense of mystery and wonder. The United States and the Soviet Union were locked in a fierce competition, a battle not for land or resources, but for something far more intangible: dominance in space. The Cold War was casting a long shadow over the world, with both superpowers vying for supremacy in every domain: military, technological, and ideological. It was during this time of heightened tension and national pride that the race to the moon became one of the most defining elements of the Cold War. Both the Soviet Union and the United States saw space exploration as a way to prove the superiority of their political and economic systems. For the Soviets, the success of space exploration was a demonstration of the power and potential of their communist state. For the Americans, it was a symbol of the possibilities of democracy and capitalism. The launch of Sputnik by the Soviet Union in 1957 was the event that set the stage for this dramatic space race. The satellite's success sent shockwaves across the globe, especially in the United States, where it raised fears that the Soviets were ahead in a technological race that had implications far beyond space. For the first time, the Soviets seemed to have an upper hand in a new frontier, and the United States knew it could not afford to fall behind. Thus, the United States founded NASA in 1958, with the urgent goal of not only catching up to the Soviets, but of proving to the world that American innovation could achieve what seemed to be impossible. The creation of NASA was not just a response to the Soviet threat. It was a clarion call for a new era of exploration. With the establishment of NASA, the U.S. had a space agency that was capable of developing the advanced technology necessary for interstellar missions. The stakes had never been higher, and the race to the moon had begun in earnest. The American public rallied around this new mission, their hopes rising with each new success in the space program. The 1960s were also a time of technological wonder. The space age ushered in an era of unprecedented innovation, where every new discovery seemed to bring humanity closer to the stars. The Apollo program, launched in 1961, would soon become the epicenter of American space efforts. This was no small task. The Apollo missions were monumental undertakings that required the collaboration of thousands of scientists, engineers, and astronauts. In the shadow of this ambition, however, tragedy would strike. The Apollo 1 mission, intended to be the first manned test flight of the spacecraft, ended in catastrophe. On January 27, 1967, a fire broke out in the pure oxygen environment inside the Apollo 1 cabin, killing all 3 astronauts aboard: Gus Grissom, Ed White, and Roger B. Chaffee. The loss of these brave souls was a bitter blow to NASA, but it also forged a renewed sense of purpose within the space agency. The tragedy underscored the risks of space exploration and the necessity of ensuring the safety of the astronauts who would venture into the unknown. In the wake of this devastating setback, NASA committed itself to rigorous redesigns and testing, driven by the sacrifices of Apollo 1's crew. The pain of loss transformed into a determined resolve to carry on, and so the Apollo program pressed forward. 2 years later, in October of 1968, Apollo 7 became the first successful manned mission of the program. The mission was a crucial test of the Apollo spacecraft, and it demonstrated that the technology was ready for the next leap: a journey to the moon. The success of Apollo 7 set the stage for Apollo 8, a mission that would change the course of history. On December 21, 1968, Apollo 8 launched, sending astronauts around the moon for the very first time. This mission was not originally part of the Apollo program's plan. It had been a last-minute decision, made after the success of Apollo 7. Apollo 8 was tasked with testing the spacecraft's ability to travel to the moon, perform a lunar orbit, and return to Earth safely. It was Apollo 8 that revealed the true beauty and wonder of the moon, as the crew became the first humans to ever see the far side of the lunar surface and witness Earth rising above the horizon. For the astronauts aboard Apollo 8, it was a moment that transcended the geopolitical stakes of the space race. It was a humbling and awe-inspiring experience, a testament to what humanity could achieve when it set its sights on the stars. The success of Apollo 8 was a turning point in the race to the moon, and it was clear that the United States was poised to land astronauts on the moon. The following missions, Apollo 9 and Apollo 10, tested the technology and techniques necessary for a successful landing. These missions paved the way for the historic event that would unfold just a year later. But the journey to the moon was not without its challenges. The technology, the risks, and the unknowns were immense. Yet the American people stood behind NASA, inspired by the idea of reaching beyond the confines of Earth and exploring the vast expanse of space. The Cold War rivalry with the Soviets added a sense of urgency, but there was also something deeply human at play: the desire to explore, to conquer, and to learn. Apollo 11 and the historic moon landing. On July 20, 1969, the world watched in breathless anticipation as Apollo 11, commanded by Neil Armstrong and piloted by Buzz Aldrin, made its final approach to the moon. The spacecraft had already completed its journey from Earth, and now it was time for humanity to take its first steps on the lunar surface. With Neil Armstrong's famous words, "That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind," the world was forever changed. The landing of Apollo 11 was not just a victory for the United States, it was a triumph for all of humanity. For millions around the world, watching the black and white images broadcast live from the moon, it was a moment of collective awe and wonder. Armstrong and Aldrin spent hours on the lunar surface, collecting samples, conducting experiments, and etching their names into history. The Apollo 11 mission fulfilled a dream that had seemed impossible just a decade before. Yet, despite the monumental success of Apollo 11, the story of space exploration did not end with this achievement. The Apollo program continued, with subsequent missions exploring the moon in greater depth and collecting more samples, further enhancing humanity's understanding of our closest celestial neighbor. But despite these successes, NASA's plans to return to the moon were put on hold. The cost of the Apollo program, combined with shifting political priorities and concerns over budgetary constraints, led to a gradual winding down of lunar exploration. By the time Apollo 17 launched in December 1972, it was clear that the era of human exploration of the moon was coming to an end. The crew of Apollo 17, the last mission to land on the moon, spent 3 days on the lunar surface conducting scientific experiments and gathering the most extensive set of lunar samples ever collected. Afterward, humanity's presence on the moon ceased, leaving behind only the footprints of those who had gone before. A new vision for space. Fast forward to the 21st century, and the conversation about returning to the moon has resurfaced, but with a new face leading the charge. Elon Musk, the founder of SpaceX, has been vocal about his plans to take humanity back to the moon. But Musk's approach is not one of national pride or geopolitical competition. Instead, it is driven by the desire to ensure humanity's survival by expanding beyond Earth. In his vision, the moon is not just a destination. It is a stepping stone for the future. Musk believes that by establishing a permanent human presence on the moon, we can learn how to live and thrive in space, ultimately paving the way for Mars colonization. His goal is to make life multiplanetary, ensuring that humanity is not confined to a single planet, but has the ability to adapt and survive in the vast expanse of space. While NASA's original mission to return to the moon has stalled over the decades, Musk's private enterprise has breathed new life into the dream of lunar exploration. SpaceX's advancements in reusable rocket technology and its ambitious plans for space travel have made the dream of returning to the moon and eventually reaching Mars seem not only possible but imminent. Musk's statement, "I will show you why NASA has never returned to the moon," is a declaration of a new era of space exploration. It is an acknowledgement of the challenges that have hindered previous missions, but also a promise that the vision for the future is alive and well. It is a call to action for the next generation of explorers, engineers, and dreamers to continue what the Apollo program started and to ensure that humanity's place in the cosmos is just beginning. As we look toward the future, we are reminded of the lessons of the past. The journey to the moon was not just about reaching a distant celestial body. It was about demonstrating what humanity can achieve when it works together, when it dares to dream, and when it pursues knowledge with unwavering determination. The legacy of the Apollo program is not just in the footsteps left behind on the lunar surface, but in the enduring spirit of exploration that continues to inspire generations of scientists, dreamers, and pioneers. The moon is not the final frontier. It is merely the beginning of a new chapter in humanity's exploration of the universe, and with visionaries like Elon Musk leading the way, we are closer than ever to reaching for the stars. Apollo 11 and the dawn of a new era. The summer of 1969 marked an extraordinary chapter in human history, a chapter that many had hoped for, but few dared to dream could come true in their lifetime. On July 20, humanity took its first steps onto another world. The mission was Apollo 11, and the astronauts who embarked on this historic journey were Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, and Michael Collins. Though Armstrong and Aldrin made history by stepping foot on the lunar surface, it was the spirit of all three astronauts, and the thousands of men and women behind them, that made the mission a triumph for mankind. Apollo 11 was the culmination of years of preparation, failure, and eventual success. NASA had undergone intense trials, including the tragic loss of astronauts during the Apollo 1 fire, the death of Gus Grissom, Ed White, and Roger B. Chaffee in 1967 had cast a somber shadow over the program, but it had also fueled a resolve within NASA that would prove pivotal in the years to come. Each subsequent mission was a test, a step forward in overcoming challenges, learning from mistakes, and moving closer to the goal of reaching the moon. In the months leading up to Apollo 11's launch, the eyes of the world were focused on the space program. The competition with the Soviet Union had grown fierce, and each success by either side carried the weight of global importance. Yet, while geopolitics fueled the race, it was the allure of human curiosity, the innate desire to explore the unknown, that drove the program forward. People believed in the impossible, and Apollo 11 was the embodiment of that belief. On July 16, 1969, Apollo 11 launched from Kennedy Space Center in Florida. It was an event that millions of people around the world watched live, either in person or on their television sets. The spacecraft, carried atop a Saturn V rocket, roared into the sky, signaling not only the beginning of a space mission, but the start of an adventure that would capture the imagination of people everywhere. The journey was long, but there was no turning back now. As Apollo 11 journeyed through the cold, dark expanse of space, the world waited in anxious anticipation. The next few days were marked by a mixture of excitement and trepidation, as every maneuver was carefully monitored by mission control. Despite the complexity of the mission and the unknowns of space travel, there was a sense of optimism and determination that permeated the effort. It was as if the human spirit had found a new horizon, and nothing could stand in its way. The mission's climax came on July 20, when the lunar module, known as Eagle, separated from the command module and began its descent to the moon's surface. For Armstrong and Aldrin, the descent was nerve-wracking. They had to navigate their spacecraft through uncharted territory, with only the guidance of computers and their own skills to help them land. It was a moment that demanded absolute precision and calm under pressure. As they approached the moon, Armstrong's voice crackled over the radio. "Houston, Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed." It was a simple statement, but it signified the successful completion of the most complicated and daring part of the mission. The world held its breath as they touched down on the lunar surface, an achievement that seemed almost beyond belief. As Armstrong descended the ladder and set foot on the moon, he uttered the now famous words, "That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind." The significance of this moment cannot be overstated. It was not just a triumph for the United States or the Apollo program, but a victory for all of humanity. For the first time in history, humans had reached beyond the confines of Earth and made their presence known on another celestial body. Armstrong's steps, etched in the fine lunar dust, were symbolic of the indomitable spirit of exploration. Buzz Aldrin soon followed Armstrong onto the lunar surface, and together, the two men spent roughly 2.5 hours walking on the moon, collecting samples and taking photographs. As they moved across the barren, desolate landscape, they marveled at the beauty and starkness of the lunar surface. It was a scene unlike anything ever seen before, a barren, otherworldly world bathed in the light of a distant sun. The moon was not just a dusty rock in the sky. It was a world with its own mysteries, waiting to be discovered. The lunar surface was both foreign and familiar. The Earth's beauty could be seen from afar, suspended like a fragile marble in the blackness of space. It was a humbling sight for the astronauts, one that reinforced the significance of their journey. They were not merely astronauts. They were representatives of all of humanity, standing as a testament to the potential of human ingenuity and perseverance. They were making history in a way that would forever be remembered and shared across generations. The samples collected by Armstrong and Aldrin were valuable not only for scientific research, but also for the symbolism they carried. They represented humanity's first physical interaction with another celestial body. Each rock, each piece of lunar dust, was a marker of progress, a reminder that when humans set their minds to something, they can achieve the extraordinary. Back on Earth, the reception of Apollo 11's success was nothing short of jubilant. The historic landing had captured the imagination of millions. People across the globe, regardless of nationality or political affiliation, watched the event unfold with awe. It was a moment of collective pride, transcending borders and uniting people in a shared vision of what humanity could accomplish when it worked toward a common goal. In the following hours, as the astronauts returned to the lunar module and prepared to leave, the enormity of their achievements settled in. They were not just returning from the moon. They were bringing with them the hopes and dreams of an entire generation. As they rejoined Michael Collins in the command module for the journey back to Earth, the crew had a sense of profound accomplishment, but they also understood that their mission had opened a new chapter in the story of human exploration. The Apollo 11 mission was not the end of the journey. It was the beginning of something much greater. While NASA continued to conduct lunar missions through the Apollo program, the scope of the project gradually shifted. Funding cuts, changing political priorities, and the mounting costs of the space program led to a halt in human lunar exploration. Apollo 17, the final mission of the program, launched in December 1972, marked the last time humans would venture to the moon for more than 4 decades. The end of the Apollo program, however, did not mark the end of humanity's exploration of space. In the decades that followed, the Space Shuttle program, the International Space Station, and private companies like SpaceX have continued to push the boundaries of space travel. Yet the dream of returning to the moon remained dormant for many years. The future of space exploration. In recent years, the possibility of a new lunar return has resurfaced, with a renewed focus on the moon as a stepping stone for further exploration. This time, with an eye on Mars. Elon Musk, the founder of SpaceX, has boldly stated that he plans to take humanity back to the moon and beyond. His goal is not simply to land on the moon, but to establish a permanent presence there and use it as a springboard for future missions to Mars. Musk's vision for space exploration is not driven by national pride or political competition. It is guided by the belief that humanity's future lies beyond Earth. By building a sustainable presence on the moon, Musk hopes to prove that humans can live and thrive in space, setting the stage for Mars colonization. His ambition to make life multiplanetary is a testament to the enduring spirit of exploration that began with the Apollo missions. The prospect of returning to the moon and venturing to Mars brings with it a sense of optimism and wonder. Just as the Apollo program captured the imagination of an entire generation, The new space race promises to inspire future generations to dream bigger and reach farther. The spirit of exploration, which fueled humanity's first steps on the lunar surface, continues to drive us forward as we look to the stars. With visionaries like Musk leading the way, the journey to the moon is far from over. It is merely the beginning of a new, even more ambitious adventure. The new frontier, visionaries of space. As the years have passed since the final Apollo mission, the dream of lunar exploration seemed to flicker dimly, like an ember waiting for the right conditions to spark once more. Despite the incredible achievements of the past, humanity's gaze shifted elsewhere. New challenges arose, and space exploration moved from the headlines to the back pages. Yet the universe, vast, mysterious, and infinite, never ceased to call. And now, in the 21st century, the voice of that call is louder than ever. The name that is most closely associated with this new wave of space exploration is Elon Musk. A visionary entrepreneur and founder of SpaceX, Musk has boldly stated his intent to carry humanity back to the moon and, ultimately, to Mars. Unlike the original space race, which was fueled by Cold War rivalry and national pride, Musk's vision is rooted in a belief that humanity's future cannot be contained to one fragile planet. His ultimate goal is not merely to return to the moon, but to establish a permanent human presence in space, a base on the moon from which we can learn, experiment, and prepare to venture even further into the cosmos. Musk's vision is a stark departure from the trajectory followed by previous space agencies, including NASA. While the Apollo program was a monumental achievement in itself, the years following the final lunar mission saw a significant scaling back of space exploration. Budget cuts, shifting political priorities, and a changing global landscape led to a long hiatus from human space travel beyond Earth's orbit. The moon became a distant memory, an iconic place that had once been the pinnacle of human ambition. But for Musk, that memory is not something to be left in the past. It is a symbol of what can be achieved when humanity dares to dream big. In 2002, Musk founded SpaceX with the audacious goal of reducing the cost of space travel and making space exploration more accessible. He understood that for humanity to have a future among the stars, it would require not only the right technology, but also a sustainable model for space travel. SpaceX's development of reusable rocket technology has been a game changer. By dramatically reducing the cost of launching payloads into space, SpaceX has made it possible for a new generation of explorers, engineers, and scientists to reach for the stars in ways that were once unimaginable. The Falcon 9 rocket, one of SpaceX's hallmark innovations, can land back on Earth after launching a payload into space, ready to be used again. This breakthrough has already revolutionized the way space missions are conducted. Rather than launching a single-use rocket, each launch now has the potential to be repeated at a fraction of the previous cost. This is crucial for future lunar exploration, where missions must not only be cost-effective, but also sustainable. But SpaceX's ambitions go far beyond just lowering the cost of space travel. Musk's boldest goal is to make life multiplanetary, with Mars as the next step in humanity's expansion into the cosmos. For Musk, returning to the moon is not an end in itself, but a crucial step in preparing for an even greater challenge. By establishing a permanent human presence on the moon, Musk believes that we can learn how to live off-planet, mining resources, testing technologies, and refining life support systems that will be needed for future missions to Mars. This vision of space exploration is underpinned by Musk's belief in humanity's capacity for innovation and survival. He believes that by establishing a colony on Mars, humanity can protect itself from existential threats, whether they be asteroid impacts, global pandemics, or even the slow degradation of Earth's environment. Musk has famously stated that humanity is an interplanetary species, and he envisions a future where multiple generations live and thrive on Mars, just as we do on Earth. To achieve this vision, Musk and SpaceX have been developing the Starship program, a massive spacecraft designed to carry humans and cargo to the Moon, Mars, and beyond. Unlike traditional spacecraft, Starship is designed to be fully reusable, meaning that it can be launched and returned to Earth multiple times without the need for extensive refurbishment. The Starship program represents not just the next step in space technology, but the next chapter in human exploration. Its development has already sparked interest around the world, and its successful testing marks a critical milestone in Musk's quest to turn his vision into reality. But even as Musk pushes the boundaries of what is possible, his efforts are not isolated. The new age of space exploration is characterized by collaboration, not just competition. The government-funded space programs like NASA, the European Space Agency, ESA, and private companies like SpaceX, Blue Origin, and others are working in tandem to explore and colonize space. Each has its own set of goals and missions, but all share a common purpose: to ensure that humanity has a future among the stars. NASA, which played a pivotal role in the Apollo missions, is not sitting idly by in this new era of space exploration. Under the Artemis program, NASA plans to return humans to the moon by the mid-2020s, and this time, the mission includes a focus on sustainability. The Artemis program's goal is to establish a sustainable human presence on the moon by the end of the decade, paving the way for future missions to Mars and beyond. In a remarkable turn of events, NASA has turned to private companies like SpaceX for the technology to carry astronauts to the moon. SpaceX's Starship, in particular, has been selected to carry astronauts as part of NASA's plan for lunar exploration. The renewed interest in the moon reflects a fundamental shift in the way we think about space exploration. No longer is the moon simply a distant, unreachable dream. It is now a launchpad for future exploration. The focus is not just on visiting the moon, but on establishing a permanent presence there. From the moon, astronauts will learn how to live and work in space, how to grow food, produce oxygen, and use local resources to sustain themselves. By mastering these skills on the moon, humanity will be better prepared for the far greater challenges that await on Mars. But the moon is not just a testing ground for Mars exploration. It holds its own promise, particularly in terms of resources. Scientists have discovered that the lunar surface is rich in a variety of materials, including water ice and rare minerals, that could be used to support long-term human habitation. The presence of water on the moon, in particular, is a game-changer. Water is essential for life, and on the moon, it could be used to produce oxygen, fuel, and even food. By tapping into these resources, humanity could create a self-sustaining outpost on the moon, one that could serve as a hub for further exploration and a stepping stone toward Mars. While NASA and SpaceX are at the forefront of these efforts, other nations are also getting involved in the exploration of the moon. China, for example, has made significant strides with its Chang'e program, landing rovers on the lunar surface and sending back valuable data. India's Chandrayaan program has also contributed to our understanding of the moon's composition. The new space race is not limited to just two superpowers, but is now a global effort, with countries and companies collaborating to reach the stars. The return to the moon is not just a story about technology and exploration. It is a story about hope and inspiration. As we look toward the stars, we are reminded of the extraordinary achievements of the past and the limitless possibilities of the future. The moon is a place where human ambition and imagination meet, where the impossible becomes possible. It is a symbol of what we can achieve when we work together, when we push the boundaries of what we know, and when we dare to dream. Elon Musk's vision is not just about the technology that will get us to the moon or Mars. It is about the mindset that drives us to keep pushing forward. It is about the belief that no challenge is too great, that no frontier is too far, and that humanity's future is written in the stars. The new space age is upon us, and with it comes a renewed sense of possibility. We have only just begun to explore the cosmos, and the journey ahead is one that will inspire generations to come. The stars are not so far away after all, and the moon is just the beginning. Humanity's next great leap, from the moon to Mars. As we stand on the cusp of a new era in space exploration, one can't help but marvel at the profound significance of what humanity has already accomplished. The moon, once the symbol of our unreachable dreams, now represents something far greater, the first step in an ongoing journey that will take humanity not only to other celestial bodies, but into the vast expanse of space itself. The Apollo missions laid the groundwork, but the journey to truly becoming an interplanetary species is just beginning. The focus has now shifted beyond the moon, where a new set of challenges and possibilities await. The next frontier is Mars, an ambitious, audacious goal that carries with it not only the hopes of private companies and government space agencies, but the dreams of millions who dare to believe that life beyond Earth is not just possible, but inevitable. Mars, the red planet, has captivated our imagination for centuries, and now humanity stands at the threshold of turning that imagination into reality. For decades, the idea of colonizing Mars seemed like a distant fantasy, something out of a science fiction novel. Yet, as we reflect on the journey humanity has already undertaken, we realize that the seemingly impossible has always been within reach, waiting for the right combination of vision, determination, and innovation. We have learned to send spacecraft to the far reaches of our solar system. We have landed robotic rovers on Mars to study its surface and search for signs of past life. But the real breakthrough, the true test of human ingenuity and endurance, will come when humans themselves step foot on that distant planet. In this quest, the role of companies like SpaceX becomes even more pivotal. The vision of Elon Musk to make life multiplanetary is not just about advancing technology or achieving an engineering feat. It is about ensuring the long-term survival of humanity. Musk has repeatedly spoken of his desire to make humanity an interplanetary species, believing that by establishing a permanent presence on Mars, we can safeguard against existential threats to our species. This could range from natural disasters like asteroid impacts to more pressing challenges like climate change or the depletion of Earth's resources. Musk's ambition is a bold one, to say the least. The timeline for getting humans to Mars has already been laid out. By the mid-2020s, SpaceX aims to send uncrewed missions to Mars using the Starship spacecraft, a massive, fully reusable rocket designed to carry both humans and cargo to the red planet. The first crewed mission to Mars may follow shortly after. Musk envisions a fleet of these reusable rockets carrying cargo, materials, and the necessary infrastructure to establish a base on Mars, a self-sustaining colony that can support life in the harsh environment of the red planet. The technological hurdles to reaching Mars are immense. The journey itself will take anywhere from 6 to 9 months, depending on the positions of Earth and Mars in their respective orbits. The spacecraft will need to be capable of carrying everything from food and water to life support systems, while also providing protection against the dangers of deep space, radiation, cosmic rays, and the isolation that comes with being far away from Earth. In addition to the physical challenges, there are psychological and emotional obstacles to overcome as well. Being so far from home, cut off from the comforts of Earth, will test the limits of human resilience. But Musk's vision is not solely about the technology to get there. It is about creating a way of life on Mars, an entirely new way of living that can support human life in an environment where nothing is naturally conducive to survival. The Martian atmosphere is thin, composed mostly of carbon dioxide, and offers no protection against harmful solar radiation. The surface temperature on Mars is frigid, averaging around -80 degrees Fahrenheit, and there is no liquid water readily available. Yet these challenges are not insurmountable. SpaceX's Starship, designed to be capable of carrying both humans and goods to distant planets, is being developed with the capacity to build a Martian colony in mind. The spacecraft is intended to be fully reusable, with the potential to transport thousands of people and tons of cargo to Mars over time. This ability to send both materials and people on repeated missions will be crucial to sustaining life on the red planet. Over time, the goal is to create a self-sufficient colony that can grow its own food, harvest water from ice beneath the surface, and generate power through solar energy. But Musk is not the only one dreaming of Mars. NASA has also made it a priority to send humans to the Red Planet. The Artemis program, which aims to return humans to the Moon by 2025, is seen as a crucial stepping stone for NASA's eventual Mars mission. The Moon, with its closer proximity to Earth, will serve as a testing ground for the technologies and systems that will be needed for Mars exploration. Much like SpaceX's vision for Mars, NASA sees the Moon as the next logical step in human space exploration, where lessons learned will be applied to future missions beyond our lunar neighbor. The Artemis missions will allow astronauts to gain experience in living and working in space for extended periods, giving them the necessary skills to survive on Mars. Yet, the real challenge of Mars exploration lies not just in the physical difficulties but in the human factors. A Mars mission would require the cooperation and coordination of a team of astronauts who would have to live and work together for extended periods, isolated from the rest of humanity. There will be no quick escape if something goes wrong. As such, the psychological impact of such a journey will be profound. Mission planners will have to consider not only the technical and scientific aspects of the mission, but also the emotional well-being of the astronauts. The isolation, the uncertainty, and the distance from loved ones will test the limits of human endurance. The logistics of a Martian colony are equally complex. From building habitats that can shield astronauts from radiation to creating agricultural systems that can function in the Martian soil, each step toward colonization will require groundbreaking innovation. One of the most exciting developments is the potential to use the resources already present on Mars through a process called in situ resource utilization. ISRU. Future Martian settlers may be able to extract oxygen from the Martian atmosphere, convert local materials into building supplies, and even extract water from ice beneath the surface. In short, the Martian colony would not have to rely on Earth for its survival. It could become self-sustaining. The implications of human settlement on Mars extend far beyond just science and technology. They will fundamentally change our relationship with the universe. Our quest to colonize Mars is not just about survival, it is about our place in the cosmos. As we extend our reach beyond Earth, we will inevitably encounter questions that challenge the very core of what it means to be human. How will we interact with the environment of another world? What ethical considerations must we take into account when we alter the Martian landscape? What role will humanity play in the larger story of the universe? In many ways, the journey to Mars represents the next chapter in human evolution. As we push the boundaries of space, we are simultaneously pushing the boundaries of what it means to be human. Our ability to adapt, to overcome obstacles, and to innovate is at the heart of this journey. Mars is not just a destination. It is a symbol of our determination to explore, to push the limits of what is possible, and to create a future that is not bound by the confines of a single planet. Ultimately, the story of Mars is the story of humanity's future. It is a future where the stars are within reach, where exploration is a shared pursuit, and where the human spirit continues to seek new frontiers. The road to Mars will not be easy, but it will be one of the most profound adventures humanity has ever undertaken. And as we look to the skies, we are reminded that the greatest journeys are those that take us to the places we never thought possible. Mars is waiting, and with each step we take toward it, we move closer to unlocking the mysteries of the universe, and perhaps finding our place within it. The ethical frontier, humanity's responsibility in the cosmos. As humanity embarks on its journey to Mars, the excitement of exploring new worlds is tempered by a growing awareness of the profound responsibilities that accompany such endeavors. The Moon may have been the first step in our exploration of space, but Mars presents a much greater challenge, not just in terms of technology and survival, but in how we navigate the moral and ethical complexities of becoming an interplanetary species. Exploring and colonizing Mars is no longer a theoretical exercise. With private companies like SpaceX working alongside governmental agencies like NASA, the prospect of sending humans to Mars is becoming increasingly real. Yet, as we push the boundaries of space exploration, we must also consider the implications of our actions. For the first time in history, Humanity is poised to step beyond Earth and establish a permanent presence on another planet. This raises fundamental questions about our role in the cosmos, our relationship to the environments we encounter, and the legacy we leave for future generations. At the core of these questions lies the issue of environmental stewardship. Mars is a barren, inhospitable world, but that does not mean it is devoid of value. Just as we have begun to understand the delicate balance of Earth's ecosystems, we must learn to respect and protect the ecosystems of other planets. The very act of colonizing Mars, of altering its surface, extracting resources, and building permanent settlements, carries the potential for unintended consequences. One of the most immediate ethical concerns is how we approach the Martian environment itself. If we send astronauts to Mars, how do we ensure that we do not contaminate its pristine landscapes with earthly microbes and pollutants? The planet is not currently home to any known life, but the possibility of microbial life existing beneath its surface remains one of the central scientific questions driving space exploration. By sending humans to Mars, we risk introducing Earth-based organisms that could interfere with any potential Martian life forms, disrupting ecosystems that we have yet to fully understand. This dilemma, known as planetary protection, is already a significant concern for space agencies around the world. NASA, for example, has strict protocols in place to prevent the contamination of other planets with Earth's microbes. This includes sterilizing spacecraft before launch and carefully controlling the environments in which missions take place. As we prepare for human missions to Mars, the need for such precautions becomes even more critical. The ethical imperative is clear. We must approach Mars with the same care and respect that we would apply to preserving Earth's fragile ecosystems. In addition to concerns about contamination, there are deeper questions about our right to alter another planet. Mars is not ours to exploit. It is a world in its own right, with a history and a future that we do not fully understand. If we are to colonize Mars, it is essential that we do so in a way that recognizes the intrinsic value of the planet itself, rather than simply treating it as a resource to be mined for our own benefit. The potential for resource extraction, such as mining for water, minerals, or even the use of the planet's atmosphere for fuel, must be carefully considered. How do we balance the need for resources with the long-term preservation of the Martian environment? As we look to the stars, we are also confronted with questions about how we will live on Mars. Creating a sustainable human presence on another planet will require new technologies, new ways of thinking, and new social structures. The question of governance will play a crucial role in shaping the future of Mars. Who will have the authority to make decisions about the use of Martian resources? How will we ensure that the colony remains peaceful, cooperative, and just? Will Mars become a new frontier for the boldest ambitions of humanity, or will it foster a new era of cooperation and unity? These are questions that extend beyond the technical challenges of space travel. They touch on the core of what it means to be human and how we define our place in the universe. In many ways, the colonization of Mars is not just a journey into space. It is a journey into the very heart of what it means to be responsible stewards of the worlds we inhabit. As we venture beyond Earth, we must ask ourselves how we will carry forward the lessons we have learned on our home planet, and whether we will repeat the mistakes of the past. One of the most critical ethical considerations will be the question of interplanetary law. As nations and private entities compete to reach Mars, it is essential that we develop an international framework to govern the use of space. The Outer Space Treaty, which was established in 1967, already prohibits the militarization of space and asserts that space exploration should be conducted for the benefit of all humanity. However, as the prospect of Mars colonization becomes more imminent, the need for more specific and detailed regulations will become evident. How do we ensure that the benefits of Mars exploration are shared equitably, and that no single nation or corporation monopolizes the planet's resources? How do we prevent conflicts over territorial claims, resource extraction, or the ethical treatment of future Martian settlers? The responsibility of creating such a framework falls not only on governments but also on the individuals and organizations that are driving the space race forward. Private companies like SpaceX, which are at the forefront of this new era of exploration, have a unique opportunity to shake the ethical landscape of space exploration. Their decisions on issues like resource extraction, sustainability, and the treatment of Martian ecosystems will have long-lasting consequences for the future of the Red Planet. It is imperative that the leaders of these companies approach the mission to Mars with a deep sense of responsibility and foresight. One of the greatest challenges in this new era of space exploration is ensuring that the pursuit of Mars is not driven solely by economic or political interests, but by a shared commitment to the well-being of all humanity. The colonization of Mars cannot be an exclusive venture for the wealthy or powerful. It must be a global endeavor that recognizes the interconnectedness of all people, regardless of nationality, race, or socioeconomic status. The ethical vision for Mars must be one that embraces diversity, inclusivity, and mutual respect. This brings us to the broader philosophical question: what kind of future do we want to create in space? As we expand our reach beyond Earth, we have an unprecedented opportunity to build a society that reflects the best of human values. A society that is just, equitable, and sustainable. The lessons we learn on Mars may shape the future of life on Earth as well. By pioneering new technologies and developing innovative ways of living and working in space, we can also create solutions to the challenges we face here on Earth. The pursuit of interplanetary life is not just about finding new places to live. It is about learning how to live better, more harmoniously, both on Earth and in space. As we venture into the cosmos, we must remember that we are not just explorers, we are caretakers. The ethical responsibility we carry is vast, and it is one that will shape the legacy we leave for future generations. Just as the pioneers of the past had a vision of discovery and progress, we too must look to the future with a sense of purpose and stewardship. Our journey to Mars is not just a journey to another planet. It is a journey of moral and ethical growth, a chance to redefine humanity's place in the universe, and to build a future that is not only technologically advanced, but also just and sustainable. The challenges of space exploration are immense, but they are matched by the opportunity to create a better, more responsible future. As we look toward Mars, we are reminded that the final frontier is not just a destination. It is a journey that will test our humanity in ways we cannot yet fully imagine. How we navigate that journey will define who we are as a species and what kind of future we leave for those who come after us. The ethical frontier is not just about what we can do, but about what we should do. And it is in this challenge that the true spirit of exploration lies. The vision of unity. A global endeavor beyond borders. The dream of exploring and colonizing Mars is no longer the sole ambition of one nation or a handful of companies. As we stand on the precipice of this monumental leap forward in human history, the narrative is evolving from one of competition to one of collaboration. The spirit of space exploration, while born out of geopolitical rivalry during the space race, has gradually transformed into something much more profound. A collective mission for all of humanity. The journey to Mars is no longer just a challenge for individual countries. It is a global endeavor, one that invites every corner of the Earth to participate in shaping the future of space. Humanity's desire to reach the stars has always been a driving force behind scientific and technological advancement. But as we look toward Mars, we must ask ourselves, what kind of world do we want to create in space? The possibilities of space exploration are endless, but the way we approach these possibilities will shape not only the future of space exploration, but the future of life on Earth as well. The colonization of Mars, or any other celestial body for that matter, will not be just a continuation of our technological prowess. It will be a reflection of our values, our collective aspirations, and the way we see ourselves as part of the larger universe. It is a testament to human ingenuity that we are now capable of turning the dream of colonizing another planet into a tangible reality. But it is just as important to recognize that this dream cannot be achieved in isolation. For centuries, humanity has faced challenges that transcend borders: climate change, resource depletion, and global inequality, to name a few. As we look toward Mars, we must understand that our journey to the Red Planet is not just a chance to escape the challenges of Earth, but an opportunity to redefine our relationship with one another and with the world we share. If we are to build a sustainable future on Mars, we must first build a sustainable future here on Earth. Mars, with its barren landscapes and hostile environment, is not a utopia waiting to be claimed. It is a blank slate, a planet that offers no easy answers and no guarantees of success. Colonizing Mars will require the collective effort of humanity, working together to overcome obstacles that no one nation or company can solve alone. This is why space exploration, and the mission to Mars in particular, must be a global endeavor, one that includes the contributions of scientists, engineers, and thinkers from every country, culture, and background. The path to Mars is filled with technical challenges, but it is also a journey that requires cooperation and shared responsibility. The development of the necessary technologies, reliable spacecraft, life support systems, sustainable habitats, will demand input from the world's brightest minds. It will require pooling the resources and knowledge of nations large and small. The infrastructure for a Mars mission cannot be built by one company or one government alone. It will require the collaboration of countries, companies, and international organizations working together for the common goal of advancing humanity's reach into the cosmos. Already, we see signs of this growing cooperation. NASA, the European Space Agency, ESA, and private companies like SpaceX are working in tandem, each contributing their unique expertise and capabilities to the mission of Mars exploration. NASA's Artemis program, which aims to return humans to the Moon, is designed to pave the way for future Mars missions. SpaceX, with its reusable rockets and Starship program, is pushing the boundaries of space transportation. And nations like China, India, and Russia are making significant strides in their own space programs, each bringing valuable experience and resources to the table. But the collaboration must go beyond just governments and corporations. The future of Mars exploration must also involve the broader global community, the people of Earth. The dream of reaching Mars is a dream shared by humanity, not just the few who will travel there. It is a dream that has the potential to unite people across the globe, transcending differences and creating a sense of shared purpose. As the world looks to Mars, we must remember that space exploration is not just about the few who will journey to the Red Planet, but about the many who will benefit from the innovations and discoveries made along the way. The benefits of Mars exploration are not limited to the scientific discoveries we make about the planet itself. The technologies developed for Mars missions, advancements in life support systems, energy production, sustainable agriculture, and resource utilization will have profound implications for life on Earth. These technologies can help address many of the challenges we face here on our home planet, from renewable energy solutions to sustainable food production. Just as the Apollo program sparked technological advancements that benefited Earth, the efforts to colonize Mars will undoubtedly lead to innovations that improve life on our own planet. Moreover, the knowledge gained from Mars missions can help us better understand the challenges facing Earth. Studying the Martian climate, geology, and potential for life can shed light on the forces that shaped our own planet. Understanding the ways in which Mars evolved, or failed to evolve, can offer critical insights into how we manage Earth's resources and protect our environment for future generations. The mission to Mars is not just a technological endeavor. It is also a philosophical one. It forces us to confront fundamental questions about who we are as a species and what kind of legacy we want to leave behind. As we extend our reach beyond Earth, we must ask ourselves, how will we treat the planets and moons we encounter? What ethical framework will guide our actions in space? Will we repeat the mistakes of the past, plundering and exploiting new frontiers? Or will we embrace a future of responsible stewardship, cooperation, and sustainability. The lessons we learn in space must be applied to the way we treat Earth and one another. If we are to succeed in establishing a human presence on Mars, we must first learn to live more sustainably and harmoniously on Earth. The journey to Mars offers an unprecedented opportunity to rethink our priorities, to build a future that is not driven by greed, but by a collective vision of progress, equality, and peace. The vision for Mars is one of hope, a hope that as we venture into the unknown, we can create a better world for all people. Just as the Apollo missions inspired a generation of dreamers and doers, the colonization of Mars has the potential to inspire a new wave of innovation, cooperation, and shared human achievement. The journey to Mars is not just about landing on a new world. It is about building a new world, a new way of living that reflects the best of humanity's values and aspirations. As we look toward the red planet, we must remember that Mars is not an escape from Earth, but a chance to create something new, a new chapter in the story of human exploration and civilization. The mission to Mars is a reminder that our future is not limited by the constraints of our planet, but shaped by our collective imagination and determination. The journey ahead will be long and challenging, but it is a journey that we must undertake together. Mars awaits, and with it, the possibility of a new beginning for all of humanity. The endless horizon, a future united in discovery. As humanity stands at the threshold of interplanetary exploration, we are reminded of the immense potential that lies before us. The dream of reaching Mars, once confined to the realm of science fiction, is now a tangible goal that promises to reshape the trajectory of our species. Yet, as we embark on this bold new chapter, it is essential to recognize that the journey is not just about the technological marvels or the scientific discoveries. It is about who we are and who we aspire to be. The story of space exploration is one of perseverance and hope, driven by the desire to push the boundaries of human knowledge. But it is also a story of unity, of coming together as one species, focused on a common goal: the advancement of human progress for the benefit of all. The mission to Mars is not a competition between nations or companies. It is an opportunity for humanity to unite, to overcome our differences, and to demonstrate that our greatest strength lies not in division, but in collaboration. In many ways, the journey to Mars mirrors the journey we must undertake here on Earth. The challenges we face on our home planet, climate change, inequality, and conflict, are formidable, but they are not insurmountable. Just as we will need to innovate and adapt to survive on Mars, we must do the same to ensure that Earth remains a place where future generations can thrive. The lessons learned in space about sustainability, cooperation, and resilience are the very lessons we need to address the crises we face today. The space race of the 20th century was defined by rivalry and national pride, but the space race of the future must be defined by a shared commitment to the betterment of humanity. The Moon and Mars are not just symbols of technological achievement. They are symbols of what we can accomplish when we work together, when we believe in the impossible, and when we dare to dream beyond the limitations of our own world. As we look to the stars, we are reminded that the ultimate goal of exploration is not just to discover new worlds, but to discover new ways of being. The pursuit of space is, at its core, a pursuit of understanding. The understanding that we are all part of something far greater than ourselves. Whether we are exploring the surface of the Moon or the depths of the universe, we are ultimately searching for meaning in a vast and mysterious cosmos. The journey to Mars is just one chapter in the broader story of human exploration. While the challenges are great, so too are the rewards. We are on the cusp of a new era, one where the boundaries of our existence are no longer defined by the limitations of Earth, but by the limitless possibilities of space. And as we set our sights on Mars, we must remember that our true journey is not just one of technological advancement, but one of human growth and evolution. The future is uncertain, but it is also full of promise. We do not yet know all that lies ahead, but the potential for discovery, for growth, and for unity is boundless. As we move toward Mars, we are not simply leaving Earth behind. We are taking with us the collective dreams, hopes, and aspirations of all humankind. The lessons we learn on this journey, the challenges we overcome, and the collaborations we forge will shape the future not just of space exploration, but of the world we call home. In the end, the story of Mars is a story of what it means to be human. It is about the drive to explore, the courage to face the unknown, and the wisdom to build a future that reflects the best of who we are. The journey to Mars and beyond is not just about conquering new frontiers. It is about creating a future where we can live, grow, and thrive together, united by the shared goal of reaching the stars. And so, as we continue on this incredible adventure, let us remember that the true frontier lies not in the stars, but within ourselves. It is in our capacity for wonder, for collaboration, and for hope. The horizon is endless, and the journey has only just begun. Together, we will reach for the stars, not as nations or companies, but as one people, united in our quest for discovery and a brighter future for all. This concludes the story. Thank you for watching until the end. I hope you found it enjoyable. If you did, please consider liking the video and sharing it with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and activate the notification bell for more captivating stories. Have a great day.